So we'll start today's class coming into a comfortable seated position. You're always welcome to come into a crisscross applesauce. Extend the legs out long. Keep the legs bent and let the arms rest on the knees. You could sit up against a surface so your spine is resting. You can even add in pillows, blankets, or blocks under the knees or under the hips. Really allow yourself to start to settle in here. Even maybe find a little bit of comfort in this moment. We'll allow our hands to rest, our shoulders to start to relax down the spine. We'll allow our breathing to become more intentional, noticing our inhale, and then this next exhale. We'll take a moment to start to scan through the body, noticing any aches or pains, any tweaks or twinges, any sensations, energies, or emotions. Starting at our feet, working all the way up to the top of our head. As we notice each area of our body, maybe giving it permission to relax, to settle, to feel the subtle movement of that part of your body with your breath. Continuing to notice the sensations of the body. As you relax into the seated position. As we breathe here, I'm going to ask you today to come out of your comfort zone of yoga, comfort zone of movement and of breath. And I want you to notice what you avoid. As humans, when things get tough, we tend to avoid them. And of course we do. No one wants to experience a tough situation. But no healing comes from avoidance. I remember when my mother passed, I did everything in my power to avoid the sadness that was in my heart. But oftentimes what we avoid ends up becoming our greatest teachers. When I discovered mindfulness and meditation, I learned that emotions are always trying to teach us something. The sadness of losing my mother was teaching me to celebrate her memory, her life, and even the air in my own lungs, and the love I had in my heart to give. So as we center ourselves here today, notice what emotions you've been avoiding. As you breathe, Gently turn towards these sensations and let them teach you. Beautiful job. Really noticing our breath today. Again, noticing this inhale and this next exhale. Throughout our practice today, I'll challenge you to do things a little different, to step outside your comfort zone as we move throughout our practice, so that each pose doesn't feel like the last time you did it, but a new, brand new time this time. So as we focus in on our breath, we'll start to take our breathing exercise for today. Breathing exercise for today is hissing breath. This breath, although can feel a little silly sometimes, the vibrations in your skull allow your body to relax. As we breathe in short staccato inhales 4 or 5 times before we exhale with a long, meandering, hissing sound. I'll demonstrate it once, and whenever you feel ready, maybe join in. And if at all it feels lightheaded or it feels like something you can't or won't want to do, you're always welcome to simply imagine this breath in your mind. Inhaling. Yes. Notice what you're avoiding while you're taking this breath. Yes. What feels uncomfortable. Yes. See if you can let those go and simply do the function of the breath. One last cycle. As you allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Take a moment to once again notice the sensations throughout the body and mind. And as we move through today's practice, see if you can remember that every stretch, every pose is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to connect with the wisdom that lives within. As you're ready, start to wiggle fingers and toes. We'll flutter the eyes open. You're seated in your chair. Let's scoot up to the edge of your chair so your hips are parallel with the ground and the knees are in a 45-degree angle. And if you're seated on the ground, you can stay right where you're at, maybe even switching the crisscross of your legs if you feel so inclined to do so. Let's bring our hands down towards our knees, lengthening up through our spine. With our next inhale, we'll pull our heart forward, roll our shoulder blades back, start to lift our chin and lift our gaze. So we come into a seated cat, or seated cow, sorry. And then with your exhale, begin to roll the spine away from you, curl chin to chest, shoulders round towards the ears, noticing that deep curve through the spine. And then start to find that breath to movement, inhaling forward, exhaling to round back. Again, challenging yourself to come out of your comfort zone, find something new, find something that you might be avoiding. Come up to your straight spine. And then with our next inhale, we'll allow the arms to start to circle out to the side and float up and overhead. Now, often we have our hands turned straight towards each other or out or wherever they normally do. We're going to challenge us to maybe do something a little different. Some options, whether they're far away or together, or to switch the palms so they're pushing out. If your hands are together, maybe you can bring the palms together like in an eagle arms. You can also have that pushing away open wide. See if you can challenge yourself a little bit to keep them in this position. And as we exhale, we're going to start to lean towards the right, taking it into a side bend. Great job. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale to the left. Beautiful job. Inhale back through center. We exhale. Allow your shoulders to relax a little, come away from your ears, and notice that subtle shift. Our next inhale, we open our arms into big bird wings, kind of like a cactus, but instead of bending the elbows, we open the arms out wide. We start to lift the heart, lift the chin, lift the gaze. Beautiful back bend here. Beautiful. With your exhale, drop your hands to your knees, curl and round through your torso, chin to chest, and cat pose. Inhale, float them back up through the arms lifted. Again, maybe twisting the palms out. And with our next exhale, let's turn towards our right, taking it into a twist towards the right. Notice how that feels on your body. Good job. Inhale through center. Finding a way to make it a little different. Exhale, twist it to the left. Inhale to come through center. Exhale, bring your hands down through a prayer. And then release those shoulders, giving yourself any wiggles or moves that you might want to do. All right, for this next pose, if you're seated on the mat, maybe you have a block. We're going to come into fire log pose on the ground and seated figure 4 in the chair. So on the ground, we're going to bring our left foot at a 90-degree angle and parallel to the body. And then we're going to start to take our right ankle, and maybe it sits over the ankle, maybe it sits over the shin, maybe it comes all the way over to the knee, and we flex through that ankle. If you have a big gap here like me, no worries, just throw a block in there at whatever height feels the most supported so that you can keep your spine up tall. We don't want to be forcing that knee down. It can cause a little bit of strain that's unnecessary. We're seated in the chair. That figure 4 is going to be that right leg. So we're going to bring that up to our knee maybe. And again, flex through that foot. And also bring it down onto a prop and make sure the knee is open or even onto the floor. Wherever you're at, you're sitting up tall. We begin to let our arms open up wide to a great big old T. And then with our next exhale, we're going to cross the right arm over the left arm as we come into an eagle arm variation. So maybe you walk the hands and fingertips up the shoulders and you stay here feeling the shoulder blades as they spread apart with each breath. Maybe you start to walk the backs or the fronts of the hands together, or maybe you even have that strap in between your hands. Wherever you're at, you want to keep your spine straight. Feel that big, beautiful breath. You're doing great today. Alrighty, let's exhale to release and then take it to the other side. Coming into your variation of figure 4 or fire log pose. Sitting up tall through the spine. When you're ready, arms go wide. This time, left over right. Find your eagle arms. Each inhale lengthens the spine. Each exhale lets you settle on in. Alrighty. The next exhale, release that. If you're seated on the floor, go ahead and come into rabbit pose. For rabbit pose, we bring our knees together, our ankles together. You're always welcome to have a block or blankets or anything else as a prop in that area to help support you. And then start to drop your forehead towards the mat. Now, if your forehead doesn't touch the mat like mine doesn't, you can always grab a block or your bolster or anything else so that you can make a connection between your forehead and the ground. And then swim your hands back by your ankles and let them go ahead and rest there for just a moment. You're going to take this pose from your chair. It's going to look a little different, but not that much. From our seated position, we're going to start to open our knees just a little bit wider than hip distance. We're going to swim our hands back. Now we can either just keep them back kind of like an airplane arms with the palms down, or if it feels good to maybe grab our chair at some place in fashion, you can do that as well. You can lengthen your spine here. And then as you exhale, start to round through the spine, curl your chin into your chest. Notice how that feels. A little bit of a dangle and a hang there. Now, if you're on the ground, you can keep your hands right where they are. Or maybe you start to walk them and place them on your lower back. You can leave them at your hips, or you can start to interlace fingers. If you wanted to, you could even start to lift the hands with the fingers interlaced off the back, coming into a shoulder stretch. Now, if you're wanting to, you could also start to lift the hips, rolling to the top of the head, making surface contact with the floor or your prop. So from the chair, you're getting the same shoulder stretch from that arm, lengthening behind you. Beautiful job. All right, wherever we're at in our rabbit shoulder stretch, exhale to release. Inhale to come up to a straight spine. On the floor, you're going to stay right here in your hero's pose. And on the chair, let's slide over to the right and take it to that half heroes on the right side, taking the right foot back, flipping the bottom of the foot or the top of the foot, whatever feels best, but we're dropping that knee towards the floor to really get some length and extension through the hip flexor. You can even open your left knee just a little bit more to the left for extra. All righty, while we're taking our quad stretch here, our hero's pose, you're always welcome to have a block under your hips here too. You can have those toes tucked or untucked. We're going to take a stretch up behind the back. So you're always welcome to grab a strap if you'd like to bring a strap in between the hands behind your back. Or you could grab your shirt, you could grab and interlace fingers, you could grab opposite wrist or opposite elbows. And if you're seated in the chair, we're going to take our hands to our hips. And then start to walk your left hand over towards your right hip. Now, it might just rest at your lower back. It might be at your left hip. It might be all the way over by your right hip. You can hold on to the chair too if that feels more support. But you're on the mat, wherever you have that bind behind your back, try to work your hands over towards your right hip as well, squeezing elbows together, keeping the spine straight. Now we're all gonna start to drop our ear towards our shoulder, our right ear towards our right shoulder, lengthening through that left ear, or left side of the neck. You can find stillness or maybe rock the neck forward and back if that feels good to you. Great job. Inhale to lengthen through the spine and arms. Go ahead and come through center over to the left side if you're seated in the chair. Sitting up straight. Begin to walk that right hand over to the left hip or walk your bind over to the left hip. Squeeze shoulders together. Sit up tall through the spine. Beautiful stretch here. And when you're ready, start to drop the left ear towards the left shoulder, opening up through the right side of the neck. Again, maybe rocking the neck forward and back if that feels good on this side, but allowing space for what feels uncomfortable. Seeing if you can step outside your normal go-to moves. Great job. Exhale to release neck and arms through center, back through the chair through center. Great job. Alrighty, from here on the floor, we're going to come into tabletop pose, and on the chair, we're also going to come into tabletop pose, but we're going to come into standing tabletop. Hands under shoulders, knee under hips. And on the mat, same thing, but knees under hips. Now that we have a little bit of more movement, we're going to start to move through cat-cows on our own. Now this is a pose we do often, so it might be a little more challenging to find it feeling a little different today. To find yourself noticing what you avoid. Great job. Our next inhale, come up through your angry cat, and then start to move through barrel rolls, taking your rib cage over towards one side and then up, around, and down. Going a few times in one direction. And then the other. Great job. Go ahead and come back through your neutral spine. Begin to look over your right shoulder, back at your right foot, kicking your left hip out to the side. And then inhale through center, take it in the other direction. Come back through center, and then explore playing with what it means to take your body in circles. Now that means maybe pulling your heart a little forward of your wrist and then back, or whatever else that means for you. Little yogi playtime here, so to speak. And then if you're taking a circle, make sure you go in the opposite direction. Take any last moments of movement you might want. Great job. Alrighty. If we're in a tabletop, we're going to sit back onto our hips or onto our heels or onto our prop. We're going to come back into the chair just for one more moment, seated at the front. We're going to inhale to take our arms out wide, and then one palm flips up and one palm stays flat down. We're going to start to shift on our hips a little left to right. As we do, we're going to pull our arms in the direction of the palm that's face down. As we shift from side to side, rotate through the shoulders, flipping which palm is pulling you. Feel your shifting rib cage. You might feel a little bit like you're skiing. Great job. One more breath on each side. Great job. All right, let's all come up to standing. We'll come into our mountain pose. Once we're feeling present in our space, we'll inhale to let those arms float up and overhead. And again, challenge yourself. Maybe arms space out. Maybe you're taking a bind. Change it up just a little bit from your normal. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, hinge towards the right. Back through center. Exhale to the left. Back through center. Exhale, bird wings opening up majestically. Exhale from bird wings, round through a cat back as you hinge into your first forward fold, diving down. Hands come to mat, prop, or chair. Bending deeply through the knees. We'll take just a moment here, maybe grabbing opposite elbows, maybe swaying a little from side to side. Beautiful job. We'll eventually end in stillness. Letting our hands return to our previous location if we grabbed opposite elbows. And then pressing to lift halfway, figure 7. Gaze stays down. Core is engaged. Beautiful job. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. As we bend the knees deeply, we'll sink the hips and we'll take our slow roll, opening up the same way we came down into our rounded bird wing. Exhale, bring it to a prayer at heart center. Great job. Noticing the sensations throughout the body. Let's go ahead and take our legs out wide as feels good to you. We'll start with the toes out and the heels in and lift up to a 5-pointed star, arms opening wide, taking up as much space as you possibly can. With our next exhale, we're going to move our toes in line with our heels, take our arms out to a T, begin to engage our core as we hinge into a forward fold. Maybe noticing a generous bend in our knees as we drop our hands to our prop or the floor. Beautiful job. Inhale, pressing into your hands, halfway lifting. Bend the knees again a little bit deeper. Open up into your bird wings. 5-pointed star. Great job. All righty, we're going to drop our hands to our hips or maybe to the back of our chair. We're going to start to take one-legged squats. So we start to bend into one knee. You can go down as deep as you want and then come up through center. Bend into the opposite knee. Come back through center. To add a little bit more, after you bend into the one knee, open into 5-pointed star. You want to come down and do a deep one, you're welcome to do that as well. Finding the movement that feels right for your body. As we move through left side and right. You have a beautiful job. Notice how everything's feeling. Notice what you're avoiding. You're doing great. Inhale through a 5-pointed star. Exhale to release, stepping in into mountain pose. All righty. We're going to take a gait variation. So if you're taking floor exercises, come down to standing on the knees. For our standing variations, for our chair variations, we're going to make sure our chair or whatever prop we're using is very sturdy. I also like to use a prop like a pillow or a blanket as just a little added support. We come facing the side of the chair. And for this one, we'll step the right foot out at a little bit of an angle, not much of one, just a little bit of one. And then bring your knee up to the chair. If that's too much, you're always welcome to bring a prop. Bring the left knee bent on a prop with the right foot again out at that little bit of an angle. From our knee, we're gonna send that right leg out long and lengthen. Wherever you're at, let's inhale, lengthen arms up and overhead. Again, maybe taking that awkward hand gesture. And then with our exhale, let's slide our right hand on our hip or slide it down the leg as we start to lean over towards the right. Take that into a counter stretch. If you're on the floor, feel free to grab a block in the left hand. We'll circle the left hand to our chair or to our prop, and then start to, or the floor, and start to circle the right hand up and overhead, feeling that length and extension through the entire right side of your body. Beautiful. Exhale to release through center. If you're on the floor, we're gonna bring our hands into a tabletop arms and then extend into a child's or downward dog upper body. If you're standing and taking the chair variation, bring your hand to the back of the chair or even the seat of the chair and start to just hinge at the hips, coming to a place where you start to feel that stretch in the back of the right extended leg. Beautiful job. One last breath here. Inhale. Let's bring it back up through our sitting on our knees, or if you're standing, let's come out, dropping that left knee. And we'll switch sides. It's time sending our left leg out to the right, again at an angle maybe. We're in the chair. As you're ready, as you're feeling set up, inhale, circle arms, reach them up and overhead. Exhale, left hand to left hip or slide it down the left leg, taking your gate side bend. Beautiful job. Inhale through center. Exhale, we're going to take it into a counter stretch. So the right hand comes to chair, to prop, or to the floor. As we circle left hand up and over, stretching left toes and fingertips in the exact opposite direction. Beautiful. Inhale through a straight spine. And then our exhale, we start to find that hinge forward. You're on the mat, making sure to tuck your right toes as you sink your hips back towards your heels, and then lowering your body into that downward dog position. Feel your breath here. Maybe even give it a hiss for a moment of release. Great job. Inhale, bringing it back into your mountain pose in your own time and in your own way. Alrighty, this next sequence, we're going to be working on a bit of a balance challenge. So as always, you're welcome to have props nearby that you might find secured. Maybe back of a chair, maybe a wall, maybe a block or two, and maybe a strap. So finding whatever you have nearby that you will want, we're going to come into our mountain pose. We're gonna shift our weight over to the right side and begin to lift that left knee up to about hip height. Now you can capture it with your hand, you can hold behind the knee, you can bring it and set it on a prop if that feels more supportive for you, or you can even grab your strap, wrapping it around the knee. If your foot is not sitting on the block, let's take some ankle moves with that left ankle. And then reverse. Great job. We're gonna then pause the movement of the ankle. We're gonna open the left knee out to the left side. Beautiful job. See if maybe your inhale lifts the knee a little higher. Beautiful job. We're birds of paradise. Exhale to bring it back through center. Release whatever you're holding the leg with. Extend it out long. Point and flex the toes a couple times. Great job. Lower it to the mat. Shift the weight a little left to right. Notice what's happening in your body. We'll take it side two when you're ready. Shift over to the left. Start to lift that right knee. Then maybe some ankle circles. Find a spot on the floor that's not moving. That's always great for balance poses. See what you're avoiding as you're taking this. Go ahead and reverse it. Can you step outside your comfort zone in some way? Beautiful job. Exhale, open the knee to the side. Keep the spine straight. Keep a bend in the standing knee. The next inhale, see if you can cinch the knee up a little higher while keeping the spine straight. Great job. Exhale to bring it through center. Release whatever's holding it. Point and flex the toes as you extend the leg out in front of you. Great job. Exhale, lower the foot to the ground. Beautiful job. Take any movement that you might want to take in this moment. Alrighty. Excuse me. Let's come into a mountain pose, maybe standing behind your prop if you want a little more support. And we're going to step the left foot back for a high lunge. Keep both knees bent. We're going to pull our thighs towards each other, engage our core, and hands can stay on your prop. Come to a prayer, or maybe you send them alongside the ears up high. And then flip the palms out. Maybe you take the bind overhead. Maybe you don't. Great job. Our next inhale, we release into bird wings. Maybe the gaze lifts if you're feeling secure. Great job. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Bring your hands towards your front knee. And then twist the right hand back behind you. Great job. With our next inhale, bring everything back through center. Step the back foot in just about one step, straighten both legs. And then with an exhale, hinge into a forward fold over that front leg. Your hands can rest on the floor, on some props, on your chair. You're feeling this strongly in the ligament of the knee. Bring a bend to the knee, moving the stretch into the thigh muscles. That back heel can be lifted or firmly planted. Beautiful job. Inhale, straight spine, step the back foot in. Let's take that side too. Stepping foot back, we come into our lunge. We want to build our foundation from the ground up, making sure we're not feeling wobbly, and if so, widening our stance, pulling those thigh muscles together, and then when we're ready, finding the hand placement of our choice. And again, maybe it's one you've done before, or one you're best trying tonight, or maybe making up something new completely. It's all up to you. You're doing a great job. One last breath here. Inhale, bird wings. Exhale, round towards your front knee or your chair. Inhale to open it to a twist to the left. Great job. Inhale to unwind the spine, step that back foot in, straighten both legs. And with our exhale, we hinge into that forward fold over the front leg. Bend in the front knee or not. Feel that stretch throughout the body. Beautiful job. Next inhale rolls us up to a straight spine, steps that back foot in. From here, if you're taking floor poses, we're going to bend through the knees so deeply we come into a toe stand, lifting the heels up, and then allow yourself to sit down onto the ground, rolling down onto your back. We'll come into a ball position. You're seated on the chair. We're going to come into a reclined position. I like using a couch pillow for that, but you are welcome to not, or to use any other type of pillow or blanket. Hips are forward, shoulders are back. If you like to use straps for leg poses, you're welcome to grab yours and keep it nearby. We're going to curl our right knee in towards our chest, whether we're on the floor or in the chair. Feel that compression as you draw your knee towards your torso, your hip. And then with that next exhale, allow the right knee to fall out to the right side, opening up through the right hip. Great job. Bring it back through center. Now, if you like to use a strap here, you're welcome to wrap it around the ball of your foot or at the bottom of your foot. And you're always welcome to just take that knee version again if you'd like here, or maybe start to extend the leg out, lengthening it up towards the ceiling or away from you towards the wall in front of you. Beautiful. With our next exhale, we're going to take it in the right hand and take it over to the right side. You're seated in the chair. I like to open my left leg a little bit more to the left and hold on to the chair with my left hand as well. You can also, instead of holding with your strap, stretch it out and put it on another prop out to the left hand side. You're on the mat. Opening it. Oh, I think I said left, but it is the right side. The first side, I'm going to say side one. Great job. All right, last breath here. Inhale to bring it back through center and then release it. Let's take side two. Inhale, knee comes in towards torso. Your opposite leg, if you're on the mat, can be in a constructed rest, or you can send it out long, stretching out through the hip flexor. Exhale, let the knee fall out to the side. Being mindful on the mat to not let your opposite hip roll up, but keeping the hips in neutral. Great job, bring the knee back through center. Again, always welcome to stick with that version, or taking the extended leg version, start to send the leg out long and away from towards the ceiling or towards the wall in front of you. Feel that lengthening, stretching. You can always have the knee bent or straight, whether you're seated in the chair or on the floor. Exhale to release and open. You can hover just inches off the ground. You can be at a 45-degree angle or anywhere along the arch. As long as you're opening up through that inner hip in whatever way feels comfortable for your body. Inhale to bring it back through center. Exhale to release. You're on the floor, you're going to come into a constructive rest with the soles hip distance apart, the knees bent towards the ceiling. We're seated in the chair, you know, your feet, knees bent at 90 degrees or even a little further forward, and hold onto your chair on either side. We're going to start to roll through the hips, coming into a windshield wiper. But I want us to go a little bit deeper, and when we pause at this right side, pop the left hip a little higher. Roll through center, pause at the left, pop the right hip a little higher. Notice what changing this element of the windshield wiper does to the twist. Great job last time, each time. And then with our next inhale, if we're seated in the chair, hold on a second. If we're on the mat, we're going to bring our knees in, curling into a ball. We're going to rock and roll left to right or along the spine. We're seated in the chair. We're going to come and sit up. We're going to remove our prop from behind us. Take our knees a little wider than hip distance. Our hands can stay on our legs, but we're going to start to curl and round into a ball as well. Rounding chin into chest. And then shift your weight left to right. Maybe lifting one heel and then the other to help assist in that rolling of the hips. So wherever you're at, you're getting one last final beautiful massage, either on your back or your glutes. Take a moment to notice what there is to notice. Maybe end the class with one or two hissing breaths. And when you're ready, allow yourself to find stillness, coming into your final resting pose. You're always welcome to take a constructive rest, or maybe send the legs out long. You can stay in your chair and add pillows and blankets, or you could move to someplace a little more comfortable. If you're feeling cold, you're always welcome to add a pillow or a sweater or socks. It's up to you here to make this your most comfortable moment of today's class so far. So take any props and any movements and any adjustments so that you can do that in your own way, your own time. Today, I asked you to focus a little bit on stepping out of your comfort zone. I challenged you on noticing what you avoided. We'll end today's practice focusing on stepping out of our comfort zone, but staying present while we do. And we'll notice the scientific benefits, challenging ourselves as well. We'll explore this concept of stepping out of our comfort zone and embracing discomfort, of reaping the benefits of personal growth. So maybe you close your eyes or soften your gaze as you take a deep breath. Begin to feel the ground beneath you, supporting your body. Begin to notice your toes. Notice any sensation, any warmth, any tingling, or even any tension. We'll then gradually move our awareness up through our ankles and into our legs. Noticing warmth, tingling, or tension. From our legs and hips. We'll move to our abdomen, torso, and even our shoulders and arms. Noticing warmth, tingling, tension. And as we scan our body, acknowledge any discomfort or resistance. Remember that discomfort is a sign of growth. Draw our awareness of our neck, noticing our facial features, our ears, scalp, all the way to the top of our head. And then we'll begin to visualize a boundary around us. Maybe it's a circle or a square, maybe a heart or a diamond, or any shape you want it to be. It could even be a gingerbread man shape. But this is your boundary. It represents your comfort zone. I'm going to ask you to imagine stepping outside that shape. Feel the edges of the shape as you move through it. The other side. As we pause here, take a moment to reflect on a situation recently where you pushed your boundaries. Maybe it was speaking in public, or trying a new hobby, or even initiating a conversation. As you think about this moment when you pushed your boundaries, notice the physical sensations in your body. Breathe into them. Is there heaviness in your abdomen or a racing heart? Is there a knot in your throat, at the back of your shoulders? Breathe into them, reminding yourself that growth happens beyond the familiar. Now bring your attention to your breath itself, inhaling deeply as we count to 4, 3, 2, 1. And then begin to exhale slowly, counting to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll follow that pattern with our minds for just a few moments. Inhaling for our count of 4, exhaling for our count of 6, allowing it to be your entire focus as you repeat. When discomfort arises, observe it without judgment. Label it discomfort or thought, and then return to the focus on your breath. Inhaling for 4, exhaling for 6. Notice any thoughts, really pulling you back into your comfort zones. Gently guide your focus back, the count of the present moment. Scientifically speaking, stepping out of our comfort zone stimulates natural pathways. New experiences create new connections in our brains. Neuroplasticity is our brain adapting and growing when we face challenges. It's like a mental workout. It's been proven to increase our confidence. Each small step builds confidence. You can celebrate your progress. It reduces anxiety. By practicing discomfort, you become less reactive when new stressors arise. It enhances our creativity because novel experiences ignite creativity and problem-solving skills. And it improves our resilience. Facing discomfort builds emotional resilience. So as you come back to your natural breath, if you haven't already, letting go of that counted breath, thank yourself for showing up in the discomfort today. Carry this awareness with you throughout your week. Embracing any discomfort on your path and stepping stones towards growth. Remember that stepping out of your comfort zone is a courageous act. Be kind to yourself during the journey. Take the deepest breath of our day so far. Start to notice the ground beneath us, the air around us, as we're firmly back in our own comfort zones. We begin to wiggle fingers and toes, taking any stretches or movements as you flutter the eyes open and in your own time and in your own way, start to come up to an upright position facing you. Thank you so much for stepping out of your comfort zones with me today. I applaud your attempts at challenging yourself, and I hope that you carry this lesson with you throughout your weekend. Until next time, thank you.